Well, thank you so much. I'm not sure what those people who are probably having against the development, what they know, but I will speak from the informed perspective of what I also know about what has transpired.
Right.
And we need to know that not everything that happens within this context of conflict between ECOWAS and those military or juntas are going to make it to the pages of the newspapers or TV or radio. A lot of troubleshooting is going behind the scenes. They were talking to each other. At this level, it's not head of state to head of state. It is at the level of maybe their foreign affairs ministries in those countries, the foreign affairs ministry of the counterpart countries, being coordinated by ECOWAS and other international development partners. So I think this is a welcome development because we have argued for it, we have recommended it. Democracy essentially is about the people. And the people that are felt the bite of the sanction are actually the poor farmers, the people who work in the informal economy, the poor people generally who could not access medicine, who could not sell their tomatoes, who could not even sell their livestock product and everything. This is the reality of the people in all those countries, particularly the last one, which is Niger. And it's also something that a lot of people are glad about in those countries in terms of how they have appealed to ECOWAS to relax the sanction. So I don't see the need for why people should not be happy. I don't see the reason why people should probably take ECOWAS to begin to criticize ECOWAS for this extraordinary decision. It is high time, and I think I'm very happy that it has happened now. It's going to relax the plight that the people are going through. It is because we don't really feel the import of what those people have been going through. It has been hell on earth for the poor people in those countries.
Perhaps the reason why others are against this, lifting of sanctions is because it's based on principle. For instance, the former presidential aide, Obono Obla, rather, a lawyer and social activist, said that the lifting of the sanctions, he says, and I quote, lifting of the sanctions and suspension is bad for the principle of international law as enshrined in the ECOWAS Treaty and Protocol 1991, which state that military takeover or unconstitutional takeover of democratically elected civilians in the West African sub-region would not be accepted, unconstitutional, illegal, and null and void. Do you want to see reasons why someone like him is on the other side?
Well, I'm not going to see reasons why he's standing on the other side, and people who hold that view with profound respect for them. We're talking about people who have been subjected to economic hardship. And what is when people think like this, are we saying the only tool at the disposal of ECOWAS is sanction? Isn't democracy about the people? Isn't democracy about negotiation? Isn't democracy about the welfare of the people? I've interacted with people from Mali. I've interacted with people from Niger. I sat in conferences with them. People cannot even afford or access something as basic as medicine. It is out of reach for many people. Don't forget that these are landlocked nations. And the countries are also weighed down under under heavy burden of insecurity in the recent time. So why should we say the decision that ECOWAS has taken is not good for the people? It is good for the people. It is good for those countries. At some point, you need to move on. Who has happened in those countries? Those guys have consolidated power. We need to now begin to look for how we are going to expedite democratic transition. And he's the burden of the people.